What's up, everybody? This is Tom Taylor with South China Morning Post, and I'm joined this evening by one of the most accomplished grapplers in history and now one of the hottest prospects in heavyweight MMA, Marcus Buchecha Almeida. How you doing, man? How's everything going?
What's up, Tom? Really good. Feeling good. Camp is going great, so can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, you've got a big fight on the horizon. Before we get into that, I want to talk a bit about your last fight, specifically the build up to that fight. You were booked to fight a lot of different guys in a very short period of time. The opponent kept changing. There was all these different reports coming about who you were fighting. Was that frustrating at all, going from Rugrug to Thomas Narmo, ultimately Anderson Silva? Was it kind of hard to deal with that as you were ramping up for your pro debut?
Yeah, actually, like you said, like a lot of changes. And I had the agreement signed to fight one, two, right? Ji-won before. So like you said, like was kind of like four names that changed back and forth. So, but being honest, I don't think too much about that because everybody told me that would be exactly like this, especially for the first fight. Man, I was kind of ready for the situation, so I didn't get the frustration take over. So I was keep my head really calm, keep focused, and I knew it could happen. So at the end of the day, I didn't want to fight a Brazilian guy, especially a friend, but it is what it is. I was waiting for too long, and if I say no for this name, I know I could wait for a couple more months. And I did so many camps. I watched like my friend Cara Sapato doing 5 camps. I did it with him, and I didn't fight. So I was kind of like, you know what I mean? I want to fight. So I said that I had to fight a friend, Brazilian, but it is what it is. It was part of the game, part of the job.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a kind of a cool matchup in the end. I know you guys were friends, but you obviously have a guy coming over from kickboxing who's fairly new to MMA against yourself, the accomplished grappler coming to MMA. I mean, taking the friendship and, the both being Brazilian out of it, what did you think of that matchup, just the kickboxer against the jiu-jitsu guy for your MMA debut?
No, I think was the famous like grappler against a striker. So was like the jiu-jitsu in the beginning of like the MMA was kind of like this, right? All the martial arts trying to prove which one was better, and like I saw like a lot of like grapplers doing good, and that was something that inspired me to do, and I decided to do MMA. That's one of the reasons that I decided to do MMA, to test my jiu-jitsu, to see how I would do in a real fight, and that was one of the things that drive me to do this, and was really exciting, was really interesting, and now I want to fight more and more and get more experience and learning the game. It's a new game. It's not jiu-jitsu competition. I know that. So I'm feeling like a white belt, but I'm enjoying the ride.
You mentioned you wanted to test your jiu-jitsu when you came into MMA. I think your jiu-jitsu served you pretty well in that debut. You ended up winning by first round submission. How satisfying was that for you as a submission guy? Would you have preferred to maybe win by knockout, or was it kind of nice to start things off with a good submission?
No, man, being honest, it's like I just want to win the fight, and how doesn't matter how. And of course, for me, would be lying if you're saying like they're looking for knockout people. Like, of course, it can happen, but how I trust more like myself is like using my jiu-jitsu. So a submission would be like always the best feeling for me. But if I got like a TKO or if a knockout, I would take it. So not bad would be for me too. But I think the easiest way to win for me, I still see like as a submission.
Well, you'll have another opportunity for a very big win, whether it's a knockout or a submission, in a couple of weeks when you fight Ji-won Kang in Singapore on December 3rd. As you mentioned at the top of this call, you're familiar with this guy. You were briefly scheduled to fight him before. What are your thoughts on him as an opponent?
Yeah, he's a great guy, really dangerous, and he has like a really knockout power. He did like a great last fight against Amir, so I know he's really dangerous, 5-0, undefeated, and I have to be really aware every second of the fight because I know he can finish the fight in any moment.
As you said, he's 5-0 and he's coming off that big win over Amir Ali Akbari. And I think after that win, people were sort of talking about him like he might fight for the title quite soon. How do you feel about fighting a guy that's this experienced so early on in your MMA career? Do you feel like this is a good fight for you now, or is it kind of a tough challenge? Where do you stand on this matchup?
I'm just an employee. They tell me they'll tell me what to do. I have to go, so I don't have too much to choose, right? So, like I said, I have a hard time to find opponents before, and I have a lot of fights that was scheduled to happen and then drop out. So I knew it could happen, and I knew that a lot of fights would be hard to take, and only like experienced fighters would like fight me. So that was the case against Anderson. That was the case against him now. So I know I have no easy fights, and I want to have in the future. So that's why I'm training so much and trying to learn the game as fast as I can, because I know it's gonna be just hard challenge from now on.
When people talk about Ji-won Kang, they tend to think of these big knockout wins he's had recently. Obviously, you're newer to the striking side of MMA, but how do you feel about potentially having to strike with this guy for a little while? And how is your own striking coming along in the gym?
Yeah, like I said, I'm ready to go in any kind of situation. So if I have to strike against him, I'm ready to go. Man, I'm training so much. I have my striking coach, Katel Kubis. He's like a Muay Thai legend, and I'm learning so much with him. Fabricio Rocco, Macarrão, so all the Noguchi guys from Brazil, they style. I'm learning like traditional like Muay Thai, like adapted for MMA. So Katel is like making me like really sharp with my striking. So, and of course I have like Stevie Moko, one of the biggest legends of USA wrestling. So I'm learning a lot how to take the fight to the ground. Of course, Leo Vieira is my jiu-jitsu coach since like when I got my black belt. So it's been like 11 years training with Leo, and he was in my corner last fight. And my conditioning coach is like making an amazing job, Diego Lacerda, making like getting faster, getting stronger for every fight. So I'm really confident with all that. Of course, like a lot of other coaches behind that. So that's my main coaches at American Top Team. And so I'm feeling, and especially the training partners that I have too, a lot of big names, great names. So that make me feel really confident. Get the chance to train with them like every day. It makes me feel confident.
That's a great team over there in Florida. If you and everything your team have been working on, pays off and you get this win, you have to assume you're going to be pretty well positioned in the one heavyweight division. You're going to be getting pretty close to a title shot after just 2 fights, which is pretty amazing. But I have to ask, I know you used to train at American Kickboxing Academy. Arjun Buller does as well here and there. You guys are both close with Cain Velasquez and DC. What kind of relationship do you have with Arjun? Have you met him? Have you trained with him?
No, I never met him. I never trained with him. When I was at AKA, we were in different times, so I never got a chance to train with him or meet him. So, but like you said, after the fight, it's something that I have to fight for him first to see anything. So I don't like to think too much after how it's gonna be after the fight. My only focus is on this fight right now, and just after the fight, I think about the future. It sounds like cliche, but my only focus right now, I'm only thinking about him right now. I'm not thinking about like future.
Well, that's absolutely fair. It's not a cliche at all. I don't think that's totally understandable. But having said that, I do have to ask you about another future fight. Obviously, you had this very close grappling match with Gordon Ryan a few years back. You mentioned in another interview that you were kind of interested in maybe running that one back in MMA. Is that something you're still interested in doing?
Like I said, I'm fighting like really tough guys, and like I don't mind fighting like him in MMA. So if they put me to fight, like I said, like I'm fighting him right now, one, and he's a really tough guy. So if they tell me to fight Gordon, I'll fight him, no problem. So it would be really interesting to like grapplers fighting MMA.
Yeah, it'd be an amazing fight. One Championship has been signing a lot of really good heavyweights lately, and really kind of ramping up their heavyweight division, yourself included, obviously. Have you had a chance to kind of look around the division a little bit and just kind of look at the other guys? And if so, what do you think about this division overall?
Man, the division is like packed with a lot of big names. I know, like before wasn't like that, especially in one. The lighter divisions were like the ones that were really big names, but now it's kind of the opposite. So a lot of huge names on the heavyweight. So it's just really excited for me to be part of that, to be one of those big names. And I get in the future, I will get a chance to fight against some of the big names too. So really blessed to be in this organization, really blessed to be fighting for one championship. And that was the place that I always want to be my debut. And I get the chance to do it. And I want to keep fighting and working my way up and building like my name and my career at the organization. Mm-hmm. So
how exciting is this for you to kind of, like you said, you're, building your name in a new sport and stuff. Not a lot of people will plunge into a new sport in their late 20s, early 30s, but here you are doing it. It must be very exciting for you to kind of be climbing up the ladder in this new sport.
Yeah, because like I didn't have the fire in me anymore to fight jiu-jitsu because I accomplished mm-hmm. so much. And I did I won 13 world titles, 2 ADCC. So I proved myself and I don't have anything else to prove. I don't have the motivation anymore to train, to go to the gym, to train, to fight again another world championship. So MMA is something that makes me feel like a white belt again. So just like a new beginning. So I want to go to the gym every single day. I'm training so hard like I never did before in my life. I never thought that I would do that after the 30s. So when I was younger, when I was 20 years old, I thought when I was 30, I would be done, retired. But now it just get warmed up. So it feels amazing. So to live doing what I love, it's something priceless for me. It's something that just feel really blessed because of that. To be able to, my life to be an athlete, to be a fighter, it's something that I can't complain. I have just to be thankful.
Well, as a fan, I'm very thankful too that we get to watch you embark on this new sport. It's very exciting. I know you're just getting started, but have you thought about how much time you want to spend in MMA? Is there sort of like an expiry date on this, or are you just kind of leaving it open at this point?
Man, a lot of times when I go to do like a seminar, because I'm still doing a lot of seminars because it's something that I love. And mm-hmm. a lot of people ask me, oh, when are you going to retire? My answer is always the same because like, man, if I retire, I have to work. You know what I mean? So if I do that, I don't call that work because it's something that I love, to be like training, to be in the gym, to be around the environment. So I don't know. My window, let's say when I was 20, I was thinking about 30. So now when I'm 30, I'm thinking about maybe 40. So maybe over 40 will be hard, but let's say the window would be 40.
Mm-hmm. This might be a tough question to answer, but how many fights do you think you can squeeze in between now and 40? What could your record be by the time you're 40? 20-0, 30-0?
Man, that's a really hard question because like the way that it's been hard to find fights, I have no idea how it's going to be the future, but I hope I can get at least 3-4 fights per year. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's in a perfect world, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You mentioned that you've had this difficulty finding fights, and that's very obvious just looking at your Sherdog page, your Tapology page. You can see all these canceled fights. Why do you think that is? This might be a dumb question, but is that because of what you've accomplished in jiu-jitsu? These guys are just reluctant to fight you?
Not really. MMA is a tough sport, so maybe they if you're training hard, you get hurt. So it is what it is. It's part of the game. If they get hurt, makes no sense to fight like with an injury. So that happens a lot. I training and I see a lot of my friends get hurt and have to pull out of the fight. So who am I to say they are lying? Mm-hmm. See if they got hurt. It is what it is. We can't do anything.
Fair enough. Well, let me ask you one more question before I let you get back to your evening down there. Before the fight with Anderson Silva, I believe you predicted a first round armbar. You got the first round north-south choke. So this time, what submission are you predicting and what submission are you actually going to get?
No, I kind of didn't predict, but I said in a perfect world, if I finished the submission first round, would it be perfect for me? So, right. Of course, if any fight of my career, I'm gonna always like wish for the best. That would be like a submission first round, because that would be a perfect victory for me. So if I can get the same for me, it would be the same. Would be great.
Awesome. Well, that's all I have for you today, Buchecha, but I appreciate the time. Great to finally chat with you. Best of luck in this fight. He fights Ji-won Kang December 3rd in Singapore. Anything you want to say to your fans before I let you go?
Would like thank you guys for the opportunity to be here. A pleasure, and it's always a pleasure for me. And I would like to say thank you for my fans, for my sponsors, for my team, my teammates, and everybody who supports me. Really appreciate, and I hope I get your support on December 3rd. So let's do it.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to watch it. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, guys. I hope to talk with you after the fight. Let's do it.
Absolutely. We'll make it happen. Thanks a lot.